I feel bad for young men these days because there's so much information thrown at you on the internet and social media that's half true. There isn't a full truth behind it. And when there is a little bit of the full truth, it's spun. It's spun in a narrative that either is supposed to make you feel bad for being a man, or it's to get you to buy a course or buy a product or watch a podcast that bashes women or bashes 304s. Okay. Or you got another podcaster that sits on his high horse and makes fun of OnlyFans chicks. See, these things are wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. First off, you guys see where I'm coming from with this, okay? First off, I learned how to be a man from my grandfather. Back in the 80s and 90s, the internet is not what it is today. We grew up by scraping our knees, playing football, tackle football, without any pads, without any helmets. We beat each other up. We wrestled. We fought in the yard. We went and rode bicycles around neighborhoods. We went to arcades to play video games originally. And then if somebody was lucky enough to have an Atari or a Nintendo NES, we used to go over to that house and play Mario and basketball. We used to go play baseball out in the front driveway. We played all kinds of stuff. I mean, we were the outside generation. Generation X was let's go play outside. Now, even the mother of my kids is like, no, you can't go outside. No, you can't go outside. Because there's so much fear, because we didn't raise this generation that's coming up, that's starting to become adults. We didn't raise them to be tough. We didn't raise them the way we were raised by either our parents or our grandparents. So here's some truths to you. First off, the word body count, or the words body count, really never mattered, okay? So when I was going in high school, we didn't have like dating apps like they have now. Yet, no offense to the world, but we were getting it on in high school. You know, girls came out of high school with some body count to them. They went through college with some body count to them. It's a part of growing up. It's a part of, I guess I would call it trial and error, okay? Now, I know that it's on a different level now, but the reality is as men, as a man, we have to recognize three real key situations. Number one is we all go through this phase, men and women, where we become kind of an experiment. We're like reaching out, like it's very rare anymore that we marry our high school sweetheart. It's very rare that we don't dabble our toe into things when we go to college and when we first get out of college. You know, birth control, condoms, those things have become more prominent in our society as the decades have gone on, and it's gotten more and more accessible. So people feel more freedom to experiment with very little, as long as you're being, careful. There's little to no worry about pregnancy and disease if you are careful, right? It isn't like it was way back in the day, So the problem is we're not educating ourselves. Men need to educate themselves. When you're 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, you're no longer taught about the use of a condom. You're no longer taught that sex is not just meant for something like pleasure. It's meant for, realistically, procreation. It's meant to continue our species. We just have the benefit of it feeling good. Most of the rest of the animal kingdom, it's not a pleasurable experience for both parties. In this case, as human beings, we're one of the lucky few species in the world that both parties get to enjoy the act of continuing on our species. Okay. So the first thing I really want to really say about this is learn that you have to control yourself first. Men have to be in control of themselves. We can't just be going out trying to get laid every day. That's not part of being a man. Part of being a man is bettering ourselves so that way when we do have mates, when we do find someone we're going to spend time with, that it's someone that we know and recognize is going to have reciprocal feelings and reciprocal respect. And the only way we do that is we as men have to realize that sex should be the last thing on our minds. As much as our hormones tell us something different, if we go into a date or we go into speaking to a woman and we make it about connection, and I'm not talking about emotional and getting all emotional and stuff. I'm talking about like a legitimate, like, hey, this conversation is two-way. Doesn't matter what her education level is. Doesn't matter what she does for a living. Hell, it doesn't even matter how many men she's been with. Doesn't even matter if she has kids in a way. Those are all preferences that you'll have to deal with down the road. But first you have to see, is there a two-way conversation that feels natural? Is there a natural connection between the two of you? Do you finish each other's sentences? Do you kind of have the same thoughts? Do you have the same desires for life? Do you have similar goals? These were things we worried about in my generation. We worried when we were men and we were dating women looking for a wife or looking for a long-term partner, whether we were gay or whether we were straight. We walked into a situation trying to see, is this person beneficial for my life, where I'm at today and where I want to be in the future? We didn't look for instant gratification. And that's the biggest problem. And it's our fault as men. It's not women's fault. Okay? If we stop wanting instant gratification as men, if we start focusing on things that make us happy, that are not about instant gratification, like, for example, there's a bunch of people out there that like this kid Neon, if everybody knows who Neon is. All he wants to do is get attention. He wants that dopamine hit. And there's going to be a day where it's going to get dangerous for him up here because he can't get it one day. So just realize, it doesn't matter if you're a 10-year-old kid or you're a 40-year-old man. We can change the way we think. And that's the second thing I want to say to you guys is we can change our focus today. In this moment, right now, we can change our focus. We can shift ourselves to something that's going to benefit our lives. And when we have benefited with our lives, we're taking care of our responsibilities. We are, making sure there's food on the table, not for us, but also possibly a family if we already have a family. If we are getting down to the point where we have our stuff together, then the rest of the stuff that you want in life will come to you. It may not come in the form that you dreamed about, but you will be surprised how much happier you are. People don't realize that a lot of blue-collar workers, guys that are linemen, oil rig workers, they are some of the happiest men in the planet because they feel like they're got their stuff together, and when they look around, they see the fruits of their hard work. Okay? And the third thing I really want to say with you is put away the porn. Put it away. Get it out of there. All the adult entertainment, all the girls on Instagram, get rid of them. Stop DMing them. Stop. Okay? Not because you're a simp, but because it's a distraction. There's more stuff you could be doing that's beneficial to you that does not require pictures of half naked or full naked women. Get off of OnlyFans. Get off of Pornhub. Get off the stuff. Put away the magazines. Focus on you. Focus on improving yourself. Focus on making yourself happy with accomplishments. And those are the building blocks and steps to becoming a man. Not worrying about a woman's body count. Not worrying about looking for your queen. Not looking forward to being a passport bro. None of that stuff matters. What matters is you. And what matters is building the blocks of success that are going to make you happy.